Hi guys, welcome to the other side. Let us take a moment for the cuteness. Let us appreciate the cuteness for just a minute. Anyway, welcome to another video. This is part two of story of my life. I guess I'm just giving you guys a little bit of background into my upbringing, my growing up, basically my story. I don't know if there's going to be a part three, but let's do this and see how far we go. So I believe on the last video I ended where I don't remember, but I think I ended just before boarding school. But basically from the ages of 9 to 15 I was living in a township called Maluti, Amatatiela. That's where I learned Sesotho. That's where I basically had my preteen life. So Emaluti, I made friends and all of that. Like I said, it was just a normal life for a black girl in a township, I guess. Obviously, I was from a strict household, so there were things that I didn't do. I never attended a party. I never attended anything in those years that was anything. The only things that I did attend and was able to attend were things that had to do with sports at school because I used to do sports. I was in netball, right? So I think I started playing netball when I was in grade 6, which is 12 years. I think I started then. I'm not sure if I remember properly, but I know that by 14, 15, those last 2 years of me and Maluti, I was in the netball. I was in the A team. Hey, I worked so hard to get to team A sign now. Hey, but anyway, life in school, it was normal. In hindsight, it was normal. There's a lot that happens in your life as a preteen, as a girl growing up. It was normal. I think maybe I need to take the moments in my life that were sort of pivotal and make separate videos for each of those instead of just trying to bring them all up in this one particular video. So, like I said, from 9 to 15, I was living in Maluti. I was living with my dad, my two brothers this time, and my we had a helper, Osisi. So I think from grade 7, from grade 8, grade 7, that was 2007. Yeah, it was just me, my dad, my brothers, and Osisi. And again, Umama would come over the holidays and during school holidays and during the weekends, right? Because she was working in another town. So this is when I was 14 years old, I started dating. So I think I told you guys in the previous video about the guy that was basically the first boyfriend, but not really. It was less than 24 hours, so we do not count it. It is not a relationship. It is not an ex. I do not consider it an ex. Him an ex. But anyway, at the age of 14, I started dating. And I always wonder and I always sit down and think to myself, what made me decide to start dating at that time? Because initially, before that, my plan was to date when I was in high school. So that's about 17, 18, 16, 17, 18, between those ages. But I started dating at 14 nonetheless, and I realized how young I was now. 14 is pretty early to be exchanging saliva with some boy standing in corners. Yo, guys, I was so young. Like when I think about it, 14 is really, really young. I totally get why my dad was so upset about it. My mom was just in shock. So anyway, I started dating at 14. Puppy doggy relationship, and by 15, so it was now time for high school because back in those days high school was starting from grade 10 to grade 12. So we had to choose a high school. So me and my older brother, who's older by 3 4 months, were in the same grade, obviously, because we were born in the same year. So we started looking for a school to go to for high school. We obviously didn't want to go to the high school Emaluti. I think my dad wanted us out of the township life because I was already dating, and I think he felt like he was losing control in some way. So my dad suggested boarding school. I'm not sure who suggested boarding school, but boarding school came to be part of the conversation. So there are two big boarding schools at that time back home. One is called Mvenyane High School and Mariazell High School. So in Mvenyane High School, I did not want to go to Mvenyane High School because it was in my village. The school was literally a village away from my village, a couple of villages away from my village. And I was like, I cannot go to a school that is so close to home, whereby my parents can drop by anytime they feel like it, whereby my surname is known, my parents are known, my family is known. I can't do anything. My thought was like, I can't do anything. If I do anything naughty or silly, or if I'm just a teenage girl, it's gonna get home, I'm gonna get in trouble, it's gonna be a lot. I know that I was not gonna go to town because there's Lalini, there's no reason to go to town. I know my dad was gonna buy everything that we need and bring it to school and say, no, we don't need to go to town. I was gonna be a village girl, village, because staying in the township in Maludi, we only went to the village on the weekends and during school holidays. So there was a bit of, I see town, I get to go to town a little bit. But I knew if I went to that boarding school, son, I was going to be miserable. Too close to home was not an option. Like I mentioned in the previous video, I just wanted to be away from home. Like I didn't like being at home because it was not a warm environment. So we opted for the other boarding school. I wanted it. I don't know how my brother felt. I should probably ask him. But we applied in Mariazell. It was popping at the time. Mariazell boarding school was the ish at the time. It was the school. It was the school. It was Sana. We didn't think we'd get in, but we got in, and we did the whole application process ourselves, because my dad was like, no, he doesn't want us to go there. So we fought for it. We applied ourselves. Yay, we did what we had to do, and we got in. And I was like, mercy, mercy, Lord, Father, you are great, Sana. So anyway, we went to Mariazell boarding school. That was a Catholic boarding school in Makatiela, which was also just another awesome experience, to be honest. Obviously, high school is high school. There's high school things that happen. But it was like a very wholesome experience. We went to church every day in Mariazell. We went to church every Sunday. Boarding school life was just, I think because I had a little bit of a taste of it from when I went to boarding school when I was 4. It was not too bad, but there was a bit of hecticness because it's a bunch of us here. How are we gonna make friends? We all just don't know each other. It's different when we're going from the same school and a bunch of us go to the same high school. It's like there's people that I know, but in boarding school, it wasn't. I had to sort of like start over in terms of friends, social life, and all of that. But it was not bad. Also, the way, like some hiccups there and then, all of that. And in boarding school, I started dating another guy, high school sweetheart, yes, because that one, I'll tell you guys a story of how that one ended, the one at 14. But I dated a guy my whole high school career. The whole time I was in boarding school, I dated one guy. Um, mm, mm, it was just him. And then, boarding school, fond memories. Fond memories of boarding school, even though it was crap. I would not send my child to that kind of school with those kinds of conditions. No ways. The biggest factor was that there was no hot water. We always bathed with cold water. Winter, summer, snowing, winding, raining, sunny. It was always cold water. But that was something that we got used to. That was something that was part of life for those 3 years, right? So after boarding school, I went to Pretoria for university. And also, I did not want to go to PE, East London, Eastern Cape. I did not want to go to university in Eastern Cape, and I did not want to go to university in KZN because again, too close to home. Too close to home. Next thing I'll be grooving here. I was thinking, hey, I'll be living my life and then boom, my parents are here. They have come to visit or whatever. I was like, it's too close. I want to go to Joburg, to Pretoria. I did not want to go to Joburg because I felt like Joburg was too fuzzy, too buzzy, too much. I feel like Pretoria was that chilled kind of environment for the chilled girl that I thought myself to be. I kid you not, I only applied to the University of Pretoria. Listen to me. I only applied to the University of Pretoria because Pretoria was where I was going to go. I don't know if it was faith or what, but my mind was on Pretoria and nothing else. I remember I think I got a letter of invitation to come study there from NMMU and University of Free State. They basically were like, "Oh, we'd like to have you," and I was like, "I'm going to Pretoria." NMMU, I'm like, "Never, so close, Saze, Xhosa people everywhere. I want to go far." So I luckily, by some grace, I got accepted to the University of Pretoria, and to Pretoria I went. And Pretoria was a big shock, was a big, big shock to the system. One of the things that was very hard to adjust to was dressing like a normal university girl, because in boarding school there was a lot of restrictions in terms of the things that we wore. For instance, we were not allowed to wear sleeveless things in boarding school, so I could not go out wearing a vest or a strapless dress or things of that. I always had to have like this. I had so many cardigans in that time of my life because I could not go out without covering my shoulders. Another shock was there were so many white people at the University of Victoria. It was suffocating. So many white people at that school, and so many of them were just smoking. Like, I remember I had an accounting lecture on my first year lecturer, and I saw him smoking one day just outside the lecture hall, and I'm like, I am so disappointed in you. Why are you smoking? This is an old grown man who's lecturing me in accounting. But like that was like such a shock for me, that why are all these white people smoking? Like, and why is there so many of them? There were so many white people that, like, you would go to a lecture hall, they're in front of you, they're behind you, they're sitting next to you, they're all over, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is too much white. This is just a lot of white people, and I was not used to it. I was not used to it. My whole life in Matatiela, I saw white people from a distance, and it was only like one or two, and they were usually old people. It was rare to see young white boys and girls. If I did see young, they were younger than me. Like, it was very weird to see my peers who are white all over the place. One of the weirdest things that I was exposed to. But yeah, university was a bit jarring as well, because that's the first time I ever failed a test, and I was shattered. Like, I think I shut down for a whole year because I failed one test and I could not understand how it happened. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not smart. I failed. You like it was a big shock to me, and I failed that entire module, and I was like, I failed. Because in high school I was like one of the top achievers. I got awards, and I couldn't understand how I went from that to failing one test. It was not even an exam. It was like those tests they have just before exams, and I was like, what is wrong? What is going on? It was it was a very painful experience. I don't want to lie, because it was something I'm not used to, and it was like a shock to my system, right? Mm-hmm. And then another big thing I think that happened when I was in Pretoria was the decision to accept Christ into my life on a serious note. On a serious note, right? So then a bulk of my life in Pretoria was separated between church and school, because I pretty much became a church girl. So I was either at church or at school or with the guy I was dating. Because Sana, since 14, I have been. But even though I started dating very early, I think the most I've dated about five guys my whole life, and then my husband is the sixth, or my husband is the fifth. I don't remember well, but yeah. But I started dating pretty early. It's one of the things that, and I know some 14-year, 15-year-olds now who are dating, and I'm looking at them. I'm like, you're so young, but I get it because I also at this age I was boy crazy, you know. So in Pretoria is where also I met Martin, my husband. In Pretoria is where I got married. In Pretoria is where I had my kids, and then eventually we moved to Limpopo for the quieter life, to raise the kids in a very cool and calm and chilled environment. And yeah, now where I am now, I am in Limpopo with my husband and my kids. I am running my business. I'm so cute. I know, I'm not getting used to it. This hair is giving me, she's African. It's giving African. But anyway, so I am running my business. My business is almost 1 year old. It's very hard. Entrepreneurship is difficult. The amount of discipline it needs is beyond me. But that's for another video as well. Yeah, and we serve at a local church here. My husband is with the youth ministry. I am also with the praise and worship and the Sunday school. I'm more gravitating towards the Sunday school because I feel like God has just impressed upon my heart to go to the children because they are literally the future, and that is where the devil is attacking now. A lot is attacking children, young kids a lot, and God was like, the conversation between me and God was like, we need to equip the kids so much earlier in life so that by the time they are 14, 15 and they're thinking about dating, they are wiser, unlike some of us. Yeah, so that's basically, life. We wake up every day, we drop the kids off at school, we exercise, I work. My husband also has a business that he runs, which is pretty much self what. So he's also exploring other opportunities for business. He's also an artist, so he does a lot of markets and these quirky things that artists do where they go places and they exhibit and all those things. He does all of those things as well. Yeah, so that's the beginning to now. So thank you, but I think that as a means to share my story just a little bit more, I will do separate videos, I think, for the those defining moments of my life, those moments or things or events that happened in my life that have made an impact in my life, that are big contributors to my story, to the journey I've heard as a person. Why am I talking weird? The journey I've heard. The journey I have had as a person, you know. So yeah, but this is basically my in a nutshell, my story. Started in Venyane, a village in a small town in the Eastern Cape, and now I am in Limpopo. Wow, wow. It's also just a big wow that I'm from Eastern Cape and I now live in Limpopo. And people are greeting me with Minjani, which is weird. Tsonga people, they just go in. There isn't an awareness of this person might not hear what I'm saying. Tsonga people speak Tsonga here in Limpopo and they don't care about you. And now it's so weird when I have to say, I'm sorry, I don't understand. Because also my name is like Ziyanda Muwango. It's like, it's very confusing to people. Kanti, what are you? And why are you here? And why don't you hear our language? But your surname is Venda. Venda people here Tsonga. Why are you not hearing? Yo! Maybe I should also do a video detailing my Limpopian experience. Ay, Sana. Yeah, but anyway, that's a little bit of my story. I hope to get to tell you guys more. I hope you like this. You know, I also have a very big problem with the line I just said of I hope you like this, because with this channel I don't want to be dictated by you guys. No offense. I don't want you guys to be telling me, please speak about this, please speak about that. Obviously, I'm open to suggestions. I welcome them, but I'm not necessarily going to take the suggestions and do what you suggest. Because one of the things that I'm really cognizant of, I want to be led with this channel. I want the Holy Spirit to be the one to lead me to say, talk about this, talk about that, do this, do that. I don't want it to be a thing of I'm asking you guys, what do you want? What do you want to hear? What do you want to see? I know what I want to put out. I know what the Holy Spirit has impressed in my heart, what it continuously says in my heart with regards to this channel in terms of what I should put out. So whether you like it or not, it's up to you, honestly. But this channel, this whole thing with the YouTube is not just a means of likability and you know, growing in social media and all of that. It's also for me a very big part of sharing my story, such that another person knows that whatever experience they've had in life, they've never been alone. Like, for instance, if you are a person that feels like you started dating too young, I've told my story about it. You're like, oh, so I'm not the only one who feels that way about dating, you know, things like that. It's very important to me to let the next person know that you're not alone. You're not alone in life. The experiences you've had, however painful, however big, however small, however they are, you're not the only one, and you're not alone in this world. And also to let people know that there is the other side where you are growing, you are healing, you're becoming better, you are growing as a person generally, right? So I will see you on the next video. Thank you. Goodbye for now.